You have totally got to see this first year victory garden. It's amazing. Hey Provident Preppers, I'm Kylene.
And I'm Jonathan, and we hope that you are joining us this year and growing your own victory garden. Whether that's a pot of tomatoes on your back patio or a balcony or a large garden, whatever it is, it's going to help you be more resilient and less dependent on others.
And I'm so thrilled with all of the pictures and the videos that we have seen from the different victory gardens around the world. This is so exciting. And one of the ones we want to introduce you to today is Amanda, who lives in the suburbs of Dallas, Texas. And so her growing season's a little bit further advanced than ours. And wow, I was so excited when she sent us this footage. She has some issues with a small backyard and a physical limitation. And so she's using a lot of containers that are super fantastic. So she's also starting a gardening channel, which is Suburban Gardening. So I'll leave a link to that. And if you like what you see in her backyard, head on over to YouTube and subscribe to her channel, and let's see if we can launch her channel.
Hi Jonathan and Colleen, I'm Amanda and I live in the Dallas area. So I'm in Texas, zone 8A. I thought I would share my victory garden with you. I've only successfully grown basil in the past. I have never had much luck with anything else, mostly due to my own laziness and forgetting to water, and the Texas heat just takes out the plants. But this year I'm committed to having a great victory garden, and I'm happy to share that with you. In the area that I'm standing now, my husband and two teenage sons have dug out and leveled. My yard is a small suburban yard where it's slanted and sloped. So having a level area is really important to me because I've had 3 knee surgeries and I don't want to get re-injured. So my gracious family was so nice to help me build this area. I would love to share what I'm growing. So as you can see, my backyard is still under construction. This is what my kids call Mount Dirtmore. It's the dirt that we dug out from the garden area. We will be moving that dirt to this area to flatten that area, and these timbers will come along and go along here to build a retaining wall to keep this higher section up and the lower section down. So let's see what I have growing. So I have some flowers over here, and I have 2 hanging baskets of begonias and more flowers, and then we'll walk over to the first grow bag container area. Over here I have 2 containers of Spanish peanuts and 2 grow bags of Spanish peanuts. My older son really wanted to grow peanuts, so we're giving it a try. And then I have some tomatillos, which will be split out. Once I get a 3rd green stalk, I'll separate them so there's not so many per grow bag. And then I have potatoes. I also have this area over here that I have some flowers growing in. It doesn't get a ton of sun, so they're struggling a little bit, even though I did plant shade varieties. Over here I have 2 dwarf blackberry plants and 2 dwarf banana plants. Unfortunately, the banana plants aren't doing great because they really need to be sheltered from the wind, and I really want to put them in this area in my garden area, but I still need to put the pea gravel between the pavers and the fence. So now if we walk over to my main garden area, I have these 2 new garden beds with a cut cattle panel for the trellis, and I have onions growing with a ton of carrots, and I have basil and cucumber, and there's some cantaloupe as well. And same with this one, I have carrots and cucumber and cantaloupe. And along my fence, since I am in a small suburban area, I need to have vertical space. So that's what I do. I use my fence to grow these strawberries. I have a total of 60 containers, and these are different varieties of strawberries. And these containers I got from Amazon. They come in a 3-pack, and they're intended so they will hang onto each other, but I wanted them to hang flat, so my husband put these boards on the fence to keep them so they'll be flat. Otherwise we have these horizontal runs that would There it is. There's 3 of them that would keep them from laying flat. So these will come off. I don't know if I can do this with one hand. There you go. And see that rod will slip out of the eyelet hooks. I just bought the eyelet hooks from Lowe's. And that's how the strawberries are hung. So I eat strawberries every single day. And so does my family. We have smoothies every morning. So it is a great way for us to still have strawberries if we're not able to get them in the store. Then I have 2 green stalks. The one on the left has mostly strawberries, and then it has some bunching onions down at the bottom. The second green stalk is my herb garden. And then this area is my large grow bag area, which eventually will be less as I get more and more permanent garden beds, but right now I don't have them. So I'm using the grow bags. I have a ton of tomatoes, and I have some tomatoes starting on here. Can't wait for them to get ripe. And I have some varieties that are doing well, and I have some that are not doing so great. I am also growing onions, and my onions are starting to bulb up. I have peppers. So the peppers are the same thing as the tomatillos. When I get my 3rd green stalk, I will separate out the peppers, so there's not so many per bag. And then I have some more potatoes growing here, and some more peppers, as well as my squash and zucchini. In this large bag in the back, I do have a small watermelon plant growing, but it's taking a while to get established, so hopefully it'll start to grow faster in a little bit. Over here I have, this is 2 grapevines. I have 2 more grapevines with a cattle panel arch, and I'm thinking about adding a second cattle panel arch over here just for more room for the grapes to grow on. And back here I have my aloe. And then this is my original garden bed. So this is the one that I've had for many years, but I haven't always utilized it, and the only thing I've really grown was basil, as I mentioned. This year I had spinach and lettuce growing, and my spinach is pretty much done now. So I pulled most of the spinach out, but I still have some lettuce, and I have some basil and lavender. There's a tomato plant, and I replanted a lot of where the spinach was with corn. So I'm going to let corn grow in here, which will probably grow out of the top, but that's okay. I will just let it grow out the top. I also have more flowers growing over here, and then I have this flower bed. Thanks for letting me share my garden with you. I hope I have inspired somebody to give it a try, or give some ideas for those in small areas that you can garden and you can be successful at it.
Amanda, that was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your wonderful gardening. I think it's amazing that last year and the years before, you'd only grown basil, and you have totally taken this to a new step. And I'm sure there's going to be a learning curve, but wow, I love those terracotta hanging pots that you have on your fence. What a great way to utilize space that would have otherwise been wasted. And the drip system that you have there, that should make it really easy. I'm a huge fan of the green stalk planters. This year I'm doing my strawberries in one of those, and so far they look great. And I think it's a great way to make gardening easy and utilize the space.
Well done, Amanda. You have created a dream garden, and one that's going to provide well for your family. So way to go. We want to now ask the question of the day, which is, what are you doing with your victory garden? Send us some pictures, send us some video, whatever you want to do. We love hearing and seeing all these wonderful success stories. So pass along any tips or tricks or whatever you want to send to us. We'll love to get it. Thank you for being part of the solution.